right. Monkey, yes it is. What do we want to do today? Because I haven't actually prepped anything today. Had a bit of a... Had to help my kid with something, so lost track of time and I didn't set up anything with you guys. So if there's anything particular, say you've given me like 10 topics, buddy. Pick a topic and we can actually pick one of those and we can actually work on that. But I'm not sure I can actually do all of those in one tutorial session. Tomorrow. So if you look at that little thing at the bottom there, it tells you when the tutorial's on. Hey, no Jill. So say I can't do all of those things. Can we pick one of those topics and I can actually go through it? I mean, I'm happy to do simplifying algebraic equations if that's the one you want to do. What's up, Gohan? Nah, it's all good. All good, monkey. How? How does it even do that? Okay, so let's do algebraic fractions. I'm trying to think, say, was there any algebraic fractions in your exams, in your mock exams? Because I know in last year, I'm just trying to think back to the exam papers. I don't remember seeing any algebraic fractions as much. Unless I'm wrong. Well, they kind of have fractions here. That's trig, more trig. That's the previous question, isn't it? Yep. Got a little bit of graphs. Okay. All right. So I don't want to make the algebraic fractions too hard. So what I might have to do is the assessment specifications. All right, let's just have a quick look. I think it's 91947. Because maybe if we can grab like a couple of examples, then we could actually work from there. That's 946. No worries, Marissa. No worries. What are you up to now anyway? Uni or life? Hey, Radisha, welcome. All right, so let's actually do... What was it? Where was fractions? I can't see it. Are you sure? Or does it come under simplifying expressions? I'm trying to think. Oh my god. Don't ask me these horrible questions, Radisha. I can't remember people's names. Quick, check hero. What? Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. My bad. I always mess up names. That was like 2 types ago. All right, team. So let's actually do, we'll actually do algebraic fractions then, all right? So that's probably the best way to go about it because I don't want to waste your guys' times as well. So when it comes to algebraic fractions, I think I used to do this back in the MCAT days. And I just want to see if I can find like maybe one or a couple of questions for us, and then we can actually go through that. Algebraic 2022. No, these are all. Say, are you talking about questions like this here? I just want to check what kind of questions. I think there's these ones we can do here. And then we could also do, like we can do inequalities or something else from the PDF instead. Sarah, no, not the stats walkthrough. I'm sticking to 1.4, sorry. All right, let's do this one then. Fine, let's actually do this one. Rudy, it's actually not too bad, those questions. They just look horrible. We could do that, or... Sorry, I'm just finding a couple of questions for us to do. Even that's not there. What is happening here? Oh, that's from 2022. No wonder. Let's go 2021 maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna chuck up a question here, and probably gonna be a little bit annoying, but I think we got it. I've got enough to work with today. So where are we at? Level 1. All right, team. So let's actually start the questions today. So our first question that we're going to be doing is something like this. So I'm going to be saying simplify to a single fraction. And what we'll do is we'll start off very slow, and then we'll just pick up the pace as we go along. All right. So I'm going to have something like x over 3 plus 3x over 2. We'll start with that. Number 2, we're going to do x over 7, I don't know, plus 2x over, well, not 2x. Let's go 2 over x. Yeah, so let's try those two questions first, just to get a gauge of where everybody is. And then after that, I'll ramp up the questions, make it a little bit harder and harder as we go through the session today. So yeah, Sarah, unfortunately, like stats is it's the old school stats is something that I can do, but the new standards, I'm like, it's just like all over the place. Ah, of course. Wait. Now it's coming back. So I'll give you folks a couple of seconds to try these questions, and then we will go through the answers, all right? Right. Now I remember. Okay. It's all coming back. See, Radisha, I don't know if you're still here, but it's because you're not, like, you were not in my team. You were in the other team. That's why I hardly can remember. Okay, say, we'll do some algebraic inequality fractions as well, so it's not a problem. Is that with a quadratic as well in it? Did they have a quadratic in it? Or just fraction as normal? Okay, that's fine. Let's actually go through this. All right, so team, whenever we do algebraic fractions and we want to put together as a single fraction, what we need to do is we need to have the denominator as the same. Sorry, I'm just kind of fixing a couple of things here. So in this case, what we've got is we've actually got a 3 and a 2 as the denominator. And if you think about it, between 3 and 2, the lowest common multiple is 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to multiply the denominator by 2 the numerator by 2. And then for the second fraction, I'm going to multiply the denominator by 3 and the numerator by 3. And so when I do this, I'm actually going to get 2x over 6 plus 9x over 6. And then from here, because 6 is a common denominator, I can write this as 2x plus 9x over 6. And this becomes 11x over 6. So that's the kind of like the starting point of these questions. Now, when you look at question, okay, I'm going to pause here. Is there any problems with question number 1? Do you feel like you need to do some practice on that first before we go to question number 2? Let me know, and I'm happy to work with either. All right, quiet class today. That's fine. So I'm assuming we're okay with that. We can go to the second one here. With the second one, what we've got is, this is level 1, Billy. Level 1. All right, so we're going to go to the second one then. With the second one, what happens is we've actually got 7 as the denominator in the first case. And in the second fraction, we've got x as the denominator. Now, between 7 and x, the only way you can actually have a common denominator is 7x. So what I'm going to do is, because I literally want to have the blue part here, and I want to have the yellow here. But the way I'm going to do that is multiply by x in the denominator, multiply by x in the numerator, and in this case, multiply by 7 in the denominator, and 7 in the numerator. So when I do this, I'm actually going to get x squared over 7x plus 14 over 7x. Oh, that is so annoying. So then I'm going to put them all under the same denominator, which is x squared plus 14 over 7x. Yeah, that's the one. Ferrari. Again, let me know if you have any questions with this particular type of, like putting them together in a single fraction. If not, we can actually make it a little bit more trickier. Just chuck a emoji if you want me to move on to a bit more harder questions, or yeah, something would help. Otherwise, I'll kind of go at a slower rate. Okay, that's a sad face on one side and a happy face on the other side. That's okay. We'll just keep going to question 3, right? All right, so question 3. This time, I'm going to up the ante. I'm actually going to put something like this time. So I'm going to put x plus 2 over 4 plus x minus 3 over 6. Let's actually try that. So remember, the first step is always find the lowest common multiple. And then once you find the lowest common multiple, then you've got to work on the brackets and then slowly just work it through. All right, give this a go. I'll give you a couple of minutes. And all of these questions, I'm only going to give you guys 2 minutes, 2 minutes max. Make some mistakes and we learn from it, all right? And but the best way to make these mistakes is actually having a paper in front of you and just working it out. A sample derivative question. I'm not sure what that means, Lakshay. I see what you did, Ferrari. That's a cheating way. Nah, it still works though. No worries, Kenan. You're welcome. Actually, I don't think we do derivatives in level 1. Sarah, we're actually going to get to that question. I think somebody on YouTube asked the same question with a fraction like this and putting it as an inequality. So what we're going to do today is we're going to slowly start building it up. We will do these questions for about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And then after that, we'll kind of like slowly ramp it up. And by the end of this session, you should be able to solve these types of questions. Bookworm, yeah, you can flick an email to me, and then depending on what level it is, I might actually do it all together. I'll just compile it all together and just, one of the days when I run this tutorial session, we can actually do that. All right, let's go through this question here because I've got people wanting to know, how do you do a question like this? And yeah, we're going to get to that. But before we get to that level, we just need to kind of figure out how to put all of this in one single fraction. So with 4 and 6, I've got 12 as the lowest common multiple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the denominator by 3. But in this case, you've got to understand that when you multiply the numerator by 3, you're actually multiplying everything above that line. So what I mean by that is like this. We're going to do 3 times 4. And we're going to do 3 times x plus 2. But really, really important that you put a little bracket around that x plus 2. Likewise, when you get to the 6, I'm going to multiply it by 2, multiply it by 2, but I'm going to put a bracket around that x minus 3. Because remember, the 3 is actually getting multiplied with x as well as 2. If you forget the bracket, then what happens is you're just doing 3 times x. So you're only doing this and this, and you kind of like forget about the 2. So it's really important that when you put the bracket, then you can go this times this times this, and then expand it out. So when I do 3 times x, I get 3x. When I do 3 times 2, that's going to be 6. So 3x plus 6 over 12 plus, and I've got 2 times x, 2 times negative 3, which is going to give me 2x minus 6 over 12. Have I made a mistake here somewhere? Just trying to think. How did you get 10x, Ferrari? So I've got 3x plus 6 plus 2x minus 6 over 12. Oh, you got it over 24. That's fine. So I've actually got 5x over 12. So 4 lines as usual. Let me know if you have any questions with this. And the very next one, we're going to try and do we'll try and do a basic inequation first, and then after that we can go to algebraic inequations. So if you're good with that, we're going to try this little question here. 2x again, that's a nice, number 4 is just a bit of an easy one to start off with. So if you have any questions with question number 3, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I might actually do this one. Hang on a second. Damn it. Yeah, so there's number 4 there. Give it a go, and then we'll give you another minute for that, and then we'll actually go that. How have you gone from your 3rd line to the 4th line? Okay, so 3rd line to the 4th line, what I've done here is, I want to move this here, man. This is so annoying. So I've basically got 3x plus 2x is equal to 5x. Then I've got 6 minus 6 is equal to 0. So that's why we get that 5x. And then 12 just stays as a denominator. It's all right, Tamahi. Cool. So I'm going to do question number 4 now. So with question number 4, I purposely did this as a kind of like a starting question so that you can kind of get a gauge of what's happening here. So the first thing I need to do is bring all the x's to one side. So I've got 2x. When I bring the 5x to the left-hand side, it becomes minus 5x. And then it's greater than, I've got 12. Minus 3 comes to this side, it becomes plus 3. And what we do now is we've got 2 minus 5, which equals to minus 3x, is greater than 15. So the thing about inequalities, and I know sometimes people get like all worked up about it. I always say this, you treat it like an equal sign, all right? And the only time you ever have to worry about the sign is when you divide both sides by a negative number. And in this case, you can see this. Because when I divide, I want to have x by itself. So I'm going to have to divide by a negative 3. And I'm also dividing by negative 3 on the other side. This is the only time you have to switch the sign over. But the rest of the time, you just treat it like a normal equation. So this will become x is less than negative 5. Once again, I'll put up some line numbers. If you have any questions, let me know, and then we can go from there. If you're good with it, I will give you question number 5 to try. Now I'm going to give you something similar. Kieran, no, I don't teach at senior college. I used to be there for a long time ago. Now I teach at the junior college across the road. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to try question number 5. And once we get that, I think we'll go to try and bring some algebraic fractions into it as well. Why do you go to, well, no, you wouldn't go to Ormiston Senior College because you would know. Say, you can send me a picture, but like I won't be like, because honestly, man, I can't go through multiple screens. But what I would say to you is if you can just type it up, final answer. If you get the same final answer as me, say, then you're fine. If you get x is less than negative 5, it's absolutely fine as long as, because in algebra, you can actually do lots of different ways. So it doesn't matter as long as you get to the final answer. That's all that matters. But if you do send an email, I've got a backlog of emails which I won't get to till like way later tonight. All right, so let's look at question number 5 here. Question number 5, and also, by the way, folks, if you've got answers, you just throw it up. Don't worry about it, whether you're right or wrong, because when you actually put a wrong answer, it actually is quite helpful. Because there's probably somebody else who got the same wrong answer and going, wait, how come that person did the same thing as me? And usually I can pick out where you guys made the mistakes, and I could actually support you guys from that. So don't be shy about like not wanting to say like, oh, I'm getting the wrong answer. Just do it. Don't worry about it. All right, so we got 7x, and we're going to bring the 9x across. That's going to become minus 9x. And then I've got less than negative 3 and minus 13. So what minus 13, minus 10. And I should get negative 2x is less than negative 13. And then finally, because I'm dividing by a negative 2, I've got to switch the symbol over. And I'm going to end up with x is greater than positive 13 over 2. Once again, I'm going to put up some line numbers here. And let me know how that was. And if you're good with it, just chuck an emoji, and then I'll throw up another question. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Hansi Tansi. All right, now let's try this question here. I'm going to put a fraction this time. So this time I'm going to put it like x plus 4 over 3 is greater than, let's go 2x plus 1 over 4 here. Let's do that. Now, if you're wondering how to start this, just remember you can bring the 4 to the other side and 3 to the other side, cross multiply, expand, and you should end up with questions like what you did with question 4 and question 5. Jake, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Like, some mocks, they tend to kind of like scare you a little bit, so they always put up like questions that are a little bit more trickier than normal. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not what we can do. Maybe Jake and Sora went to the same school, because it's interesting, right? Because on one side, I've got people going, yeah, you can help me get excellence on my mock. And the other side, they're like, oh, my mocks were horrendous. Sarah, yes, you can do that, Sarah. But ultimately, I think if you do that, you're just doing like one extra step. That's all. But you can definitely do that as well. But that's literally what cross multiplying is. So here's the trick for you, Sarah. Instead of making the denominator 12, especially with a fraction, when it's like a single fraction equals to another single fraction like this case, we can simply do this. We can actually just take the 4. We can take the 4 to the top there and 3 to the top there, which will be like cross multiplication. So we rewrite this as 4 multiplied by x plus 4 is greater than 3 multiplied by 2x plus 1. So Sarah, that's pretty much what you'd be doing the same way, except you'll have a 12 in the denominator. So it's like one extra step that you can actually avoid. So I'll pause here, give it a go, 30 seconds, and then I'll go through the answer in 30 seconds. Nah. That wouldn't work. The cross multiplication wouldn't work like that for Sarah. If there's a level 5, then you would have to do the denominator part. Yeah, no. That's okay. I'll show you what I mean by when we get to there. A plus 5 over 2 minus 4 over 4. Wow, 4 over 4. X. Danny, I'm just trying to get your question there. Let me know if this is correct, because I'm trying to decode what you've written there. So you've got a plus 5 over 2 minus 4 over 4. Isn't that just 1? 4 over 4. Oh, 4 over 4 times 9 minus a over 5 equals 3a plus 2 over 20 plus 14 over 5. Is that correct? What the question looks like? Danny, your question? Let me know. All right, so let's actually look at this question for number 6. Number 6, do you write the equal sign on the left side for every line? No, you don't do that, say. It's interesting why they put that 4 over 4, because 4 over 4 is just 1. So I'm just going to get rid of that. So maybe something like this, because 4 divided by 4 is just 1. But okay, anyway, let's have a look at this. We've got 4 times x and 4 and 4. So that's going to be 4x plus 16 is greater than. Here we've got 6x plus 3. So rearranging this, I've got 4x minus 6x is greater than 3 minus 16. So I end up with something like negative 2x is greater than negative 13. And then you've got x. Well, you got to divide by negative 2 on both sides. So I got to divide by negative 2 on both sides. And you're going to end up with is x is less than positive 13 over 2 or less than 6.5. Why wouldn't be Samia? Why wouldn't I be? Yeah, look, that's pretty much that question there. Now, Danny, before we actually pop down to your question here, I wanted to do just this last one that Say was talking about, something similar. Okay, what we might do is we might do a solving question first. Once we do a solving question, then we'll get to Danny's question, and then we'll get to the inequation question, because the inequality questions are really easy once you understand how to solve the equations, because the rules are the same. The only thing that's different with inequality is you got to change the sign when you divide by the negatives. So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to put Danny's question here, and we're going to slowly work towards that question. So here is the first question that we're going to be looking at. Not first question. What did we do? We did 6. So we're going to go number 7. So question 7, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this as the question. So we've got 2x plus 1 over 3 plus x over 4 equals 2. So what I'm going to ask you folks to do is to figure out what x is. And then what I'll do is I'll show you guys what the inequality one looks like, so you can kind of get an idea of how to do the inequality one. Instead of moving 6 on left side, hang on, sorry, I kind of got distracted. 6 on left side. Sorry, man, I'm just pulling up my notes so people can actually work on this question. Say. This is level 1, Chris. Oh, so you got the answer of like this, right? Is that what you got? Yeah, that's fine. That answer is fine there, Say. That's not a problem. So who was it that I was talking to? So Sarah, I think this is the question where you've got to make the denominator the same, and then you can kind of work from it. I'll give you folks one more minute to try and work it out. But if you're stuck, close your, if you're kind of going through the question, close your eyes. If you're stuck, here's what you need to do. Say, for example, if I tell you this right here, this is the correct way of writing it. We actually say x is less than 2. If you had written it this way, it's saying 2 is bigger than x. So if I say a number x is less than 2 and saying 2 is bigger than x, both of those mean the same thing. It's just written in a different way. We got our first answer, x equals to 0.18. Nah, you don't have to, because then you can eventually you'll what you're gonna do is like you're gonna take this left-hand side, you're gonna make this into a single fraction, and then you're gonna cross multiply. So let me work this out to show you. So between 3 and 4, I know that 12 is the common multiple. So I'm gonna multiply by 4 and 4 here. And on this side, I'm gonna multiply by 3 and 3. And so what I end up with is 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 1 is 4 over 12 plus 3x over 12 equals to 2. Now, because they all have 12 as the denominator, so 8x plus 4 plus 3x over 12 equals to 2. Now I can get rid of the, well, I can actually write this as 11x plus 4 over 12 is equal to 2. Then I can cross multiply. So I'm going to get 11x plus 4 is equal to 2 times 12. And I got 11x plus 4 equals to 24. 11x is equal to 24. Take away 4. And I've got 11x is equal to 20. X is equal to 20 over 11. Why did I... 1.8? Trying to think how you got 0.18, Maddie. See where you found your where you made the mistake, Maddie, and let me know. Forgot to x by 12. Yeah, 20 over 11 is I reckon it sounds about right. Yeah, 1.8, 1.82. Okay, let me know if there's any questions here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a similar type of question, but it's going to be written as an inequality. So I've got 9 lines there, and let me know if there's any particular lines that you have problems with. Limits are part of calculus. Ben, where did I do it? Are you talking about this? Are you talking about basic limits, or are you talking about basics of calculus foundations? Oh man, basics. Are you doing scholarship, Ben? Is that why you're digging into it? Hansi, the only time you do cross multiplication is when you have a single fraction equals another single fraction, because then you can actually cross multiply. But if you have like a fraction plus another fraction equals another fraction, you won't be able to cross multiply. I think, Ben, you've got to dig in a bit deeper in YouTube, man, because yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I genuinely am struggling to find time to do things. Like I'm sleeping like 4.5, 5 hours a day, just trying to keep up with making stuff and keeping my schoolwork up. So, but have a look at the calculus playlist, my friend. Like I created a 10-hour playlist for calculus. Troy Lodge, no, I don't do one-on-one tutoring, mate. Okay, so I'm assuming that you guys have no questions with this. So I'm going to give you an inequality version of this question. So, or shall I give you another equals one to kind of make it a little bit harder? What do you reckon? Do an inequality one or just another equals one? Okay, first person to say that, equals. Okay, but I'll make it a little bit harder, all right? So question 8 is, I'm going to write this. Yeah, there we go. Equals 1. As you can see, we're slowly working towards, I think whoever that wrote that, Danny's question. Now, Sarah, in this question, what you can do is make all the denominators the same and then completely ignore it and just work with the numerators. Guess, and it probably is. I always cross between the two quite a bit. But you should have seen one of these guys. They gave me a question on in their mocks. Danny gave me a question. Look up the chat. It's about 20 lines above your comment. Danny, I did discuss that in the last tutorial session. So if I need to create a playlist for that. Sorry, I'll create a playlist for it, because I think in the last tutorial session I did talk a lot about y equals the vertex form and so on. Okay. So you got it, yeah. 2DP is safe, Naga. I'm actually going to show you guys a couple of ways of doing this. All right, so the long method, and then there's not a shortcut, but like a couple of steps that you can skip through and not actually worry too much about it. Kesson, look, to be honest, you're like 1 point short of a merit, right? So that means you probably got like a 13 or a 14 in your papers. That's a good start, mate. Like, and at this point, it's just practicing those past exam papers. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you guys have got one of the best tools at the moment in terms of like just throw a question in AI and ask it to generate like 5 questions practice for you, and it generates it for you. So it's not like before where you have to go and look for questions. You can actually generate these questions, especially for algebra. It's getting better and better. So definitely worth doing that, Kesson. Also, another thing I'd do, Kesson, is if you're really wanting to get ahead, I would actually scan your paper, put it on ChatGPT, and say, hey, what am I missing? Ask it to analyze your exam paper and ask it to give you lessons on how to get better at things that you're weak with. So that's another idea I would suggest to you as well. All right, I'm going to work on this question here. So I've got 2, 10, and 4. And from here, I know that I want to make the denominator 20 because that's the lowest common multiple. So when I make it 20, I am going to multiply by 10 here. So 10 here. Here, I'm going to multiply by 2. So 2 here. Finally, in this one, I'm going to multiply by 5. And I'm going to multiply by 5. So what that does is, in the numerator, I've got 10 times 3x and 10 times -1. So that's going to be 30x minus 10 over 20 plus 14x over 20 equals 5x over 20. Now here is what you can actually do. Because all of the denominators are the same, we can just completely forget about it. We don't need to worry about the 20 anymore. So what we just do is we just rewrite this as just 30x minus 10 plus 14x equals 5x. If you're wondering how I did that, please ask. It's just but that's pretty much it, because like how do I say it? It's like when when the denominators are the same, yeah, you just completely get rid of it. You can ignore it and just look at the numerator. So now I've got 30x plus 14x, which is 44x, minus 10 is equal to 5x. Then I got 44x. Oh man, I need to get a new HDMI cable. Minus 5x is equal to positive 10. And I end up with 39x is equal to 10. And then x is equal to 10 over 39. All right, what I'll do, I'm gonna put a few line numbers here. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be right back. Gotta get the dog. Great question there, Kesson. Why didn't I get rid of the denominator in question 7? The only way I would get rid of that denominator is, I'm looking at this line here, is if I did something like this. If I had 8x plus 4 over 12 plus 3x over 12 equals to 2, right? This was the original equation. But if I change that 2 to 24 divided by 12, then I can actually forget about the denominator. And what you would notice is basically I would get 11x plus 4 equals 24. And I think that's this line right here. Does that kind of make sense? So the only time you can get rid of the denominator completely if it's on both sides. If it's just on one side, we can't get rid of it. That's bad. All right, Tris, welcome aboard. Awesome. Should we go to the next question? Are we happy with this? Thursday, Kesson, Thursday. Nah, Naga, these are all they're borderline merit excellence questions, I would say. These are definitely not achieved questions. They're definitely higher than that. Say that's absolutely fine. 4 over 36 and 1 over 9 is the same thing. Well, Naga, let's actually get to the final. I think Danny. I think, are you guys ready for Danny's question yet, or should we try Danny's question? I mean, she has been waiting. Well, he or she has been waiting for a long time. Let's go with Danny's question then. I think you guys are ready. Let me write it up properly. All right. So this is Danny's question here. So you've got a plus 5 over 2. Oh, wait. Can I just do one more question before Danny's question? Because I know what's going to happen. You guys are going to definitely make a mistake with this because this happens all the time. Last question, I promise. We'll do this one, and then after that, we go to Danny's question. So we'll do one more, which is 3x minus 1 over 2 minus x minus 1 over 4 equals, maybe not 4, let's go 5. Equals 7 over, no, let's just keep it simple. Equals 3. Try that question. The reason is because just be careful with the minus, all right? This is the one that always people mess up with. And when I say be careful, I'm talking about this minus here. You've got to be careful with it. But I'll let you do it. I'll give you 2 minutes. Try it out. Let's actually make this an inequality, just for the hell of it. Because, I mean, the rules are still the same. And I think it's just like one extra step, so you'll be fine. Give it a go. Keep changing the question, Bash. Yes. Say, there is a way to double check these with the graphics calculator. You'll get a solution, but I don't think you can do inequalities in graphics calculator. But you can do equals in the graphics calculator. give you folks another minute, and when you're done, chuck an emoji so I know I can get a gauge of how many people have finished, and then I'll start going through the answer. We've got a couple of people. The giveaway is going to be mainly based on YouTube, man. And what I'm gonna have to do is, like, you know, I'll just probably, I don't know if I can pin a comment in TikTok, can I? I can probably stream it on TikTok. Let me just test something. Oh, I can pin the comment. Yes, I can pin the comment. But I don't know if people are going to see that. Let's see. Inequality means just it's less than or greater than. That's all. But you follow pretty much the same rules as equals. Amazing. We've got 2 different answers. That's awesome already. But the good thing is both the symbols are facing the right way, well, the same way. So that's at least a starting point. All right, team. I'm going to actually work through this question at the moment. 3x, 2x, 5, 2. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to multiply, because we've got 2 and 5 in the denominator, I'm going to multiply this by 5 and this one by 5. Now, I told you guys, remember, the minus is, you've got to be careful with that minus, right? So what's going to happen here is when you actually multiply this by 3, you're also going to multiply this top here by 3. Okay? And I'm sure you guys all did that. But that minus is a pesky little thing. And trust me, every year we get at least more than 50% of the people miss that minus. Because what's going to happen is this. When we do 5 times 3x and 5 times negative 1, we end up with 15x minus 5. But when you do this one, 3 times x and 3 times negative 1, you have to keep in mind of the negative sign. So it's not actually 3 times x, but it's actually negative 3 times x. So you're going to end up with negative 3x, and then negative times negative 1 is going to become plus 3. That's over 15. That's over 15. And we can actually write this as just plus. So that little negative in the middle will affect all of the terms on this fraction. That's the x minus 1. So now that we've done this, we're actually going to end up with 15x minus 5 minus 3x plus 3 over 15 is less than 3. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I just realized where I made my mistake. Apologies. That should be a 2. Yeah. My bad. I was thinking of multiple things there. So that should go to be 2, right? Yeah, there we go. 2x and minus 2. Oh, plus 2. Yeah. It's all right. See, I make these mistakes. So I got 15x minus 5 minus 2x plus 2 over 10. Let me know if that's good so far. And then I've got 13x minus 3 is less than 10. Over 10 is less than 3. And then now I cross multiply the 3. I'm going to get 13x minus 3 is less than 3 times 10. And I've got 13x minus 3 is less than 30. And then 13x is less than 30 plus 3. So 13x is less than 33. X is less than 33 over 13. I think which is roughly 2 point something. There we go, 2.53. So what I'm going to do is, as usual, I'm going to put a bunch of line numbers. Now, let's say I am in the exam situation and I kind of go like, I mean, I'm going to make silly mistakes, guys. Like, it doesn't matter how many years I've been doing maths, I'm still going to make silly mistakes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into equation, and in solver, I'm actually going to write this equation down. So I'm going to put down 3x minus 1 over 2. Then I've got minus, in the bracket, I've got x minus 1 over 5 is equal to 3. Notice I'm not putting less than or greater than, right? I'm just putting it equal to 3. And when I click on solve, I actually get 2.538. And that was exactly the same as 33 over 13. See, I got that same answer. So if I don't, what I use the calculator is to actually check the answers. Borderline merit excellence, Kesson, Ralph? Sarah, you got it, or are you out of here? Now we're ready to attempt Danny's question, and that's going to be an excellence, and I'm going to make it a little bit with a little bit of what do you call it? Inequality in there. PR Naga, it's very common, this question. They always put that minus. Well, say that's because when you multiply with a positive number, right, the negatives won't change. If you think about it, positive times positive is positive, positive times negative is negative. So, but it's only when you do negative times positive, it'll be negative. So you don't see the difference, but negative times negative is actually a positive. So that's why that sneaky negative, you've got to be careful with that sneaky negative sign in the middle of a fraction. And that's why it's like, and most of these questions say, especially at this level, they put that sneaky negative in there just to mess with your head. All right, last question, folks, and then we'll call it. Welcome back, Danny. We are looking at your question at the moment, and I need to write this question up properly. So we've got, oh, why does this thing happen? I'm going to write it up cleaner so that you guys can actually read it. But I'm going to change this equals into less than. So remember the little tricks that I taught you guys today? Make all the denominator the same, and I think you should get like a nice equation to work with and just go from there. No, Dubs, we cannot differentiate that. AE beginner, remember what I talked about from the earlier ones, right? Make the denominator the same across the whole equation, and then just get rid of the denominator. Let's say make the equation. Make the denominator the same, and then get rid of the denominator. And watch out for the sneaky negative. I'll give you guys about 3 minutes on this, all right? 3 to 4 minutes on this, and then I'll go through it slowly, one step at a time. AE beginner, make all the denominators. What's the lowest common multiple for the denominator? So you got 2, 5, and 20. So start with that first. Make the bottom number all the same. PR Naga, I'm not sure what the final answer is. I need to actually go through it and have a look. I mean, we kind of used Danny's question and then kind of made it a little bit more trickier. So AE beginner, this is what I'm hoping you'd be doing, all right? Because when you look at the lowest common multiple for 2, 5, and 20, 20 is the lowest common multiple. So I'm going to multiply this one here by 10 and 10. This one here by 4 and 4. The 20, I just leave it exactly like that. Don't worry about it. And then in this one, I would multiply it by 4 and 4. When you say the alternate form, I'm not sure what that means, P. Yeah, try from there, AE beginner, and then make all the get all the denominators to equal 20, and then get rid of it. All right, we've got a couple of answers here. I've got first answer is A is less than 4. Anybody else got a different answer? That's on TikTok. TikTok said A is less than 4. What does YouTube say? YouTube people are still working on it. Wait till I get Twitch and Instagram on it. I should have like 4 chats going. Oh, we got another A is less than 4 as well. Amazing. We got 2 A less than 4s. I think we're on to something here. All right, I'm just going to do just the second line, just so that if people are kind of like, you can ask questions along the way. So second line is expanding the brackets in the top. I've got 10A and 50. In the denominator, I've got 20. Now remember, I've got the sneaky minus there. So I'm going to put that as plus, and then I've got minus 4 times 9, minus 4 times minus A. So that's going to become minus 36 plus 4A over 20 less than 3A plus 2 over 20 plus 28 over 20. Now, because the whole line has a denominator of 20, I'm going to completely just ignore the 20 and just write the numerators. I've got 10A plus 50 minus 36 plus 4A is less than 3A plus 2 plus 28. Yeah, you can forget the 20, mate, because it's, I mean, what we're doing is we're literally combining like 2 steps there, which we don't need to. Like, for example, see if it's like this, right? So let's say I have like A over B plus C over B equals D over B. All right. Now I can just say straight away from here, I can say that A plus C is equal to D. The reason is, if you think about like fractions, right? If I say this is 3 over 10 plus 4 over 10, you know what this question mark is. The question mark is going to be 7. So that's like saying 3 plus 4 equals to 7. Oh, yeah, thank you. See, I always make that mistake. Cool. So next, I'm going to collect all the A's on the left-hand side. I've got 14A minus 14 is less than 3A plus 58. Let me know if I'm doing that correct, because I'm now getting nervous. Why did you only make the -4 negative in the numerator and not the denominator? Great question there, Sarah, but I think when you do pluses and minus, right, the denominators generally don't have a positive. They'll always be positive, the denominators. And if you remember, I did multiply it by +4. I mean, if you think about it, this is +4. But because positive, and when I do this positive times minus, it will actually become minus. So that's why I'm multiplying it by -4. Oh, what did I make a mistake now with? 50 minus 36, 14. Yeah, okay, what did I make a mistake again? That's fine, let's just see what happens. I've got 14a minus 3a. You guys got a less than 4. I'm getting something else. Why am I getting something else? Have I made a mistake somewhere? Getting 11a is 72. The 50 minus 36. 14, idiot. Much better. Yep. You know it's getting late in the night when I'm like making this many mistakes, right? That's better. A is less than 44 over 11, and I'm getting A is less than 4. Honestly, I'm like, I looked at the number and I was like, yeah, 50 minus 36 is -14. Anyway, good lot of mistakes there, people. Because I was reading that you said 50 minus 36 is +14, Hansi, and I was like, yeah, it's +14, but I didn't actually see the minus in front of the 14 because I just saw the 14 as 14. No worries, Sarah. See you later, guys. That's basically it for today's session. By the way, lots of good mistakes, but hopefully you got the hang of inequations, right? That's pretty much inequalities. The only time, Ralph, you'd ever switch that was if it was -11a. And you have to divide by a -11, then you would switch it. Now, most of the time in the exams, they do these questions where they have that negative, the sneaky negative there, and they'll also give you a switch symbol. Danny, hopefully that answered your question, and hopefully you guys found these questions a lot easier. I mean, you think about how much progress you made from the start of the session where you're just doing some basic ones and just kind of like working through it. Long division with large decimal numbers. Why? Jeez, man, you guys ask some crazy things. P, integrals are in calculus playlist, my friend. It's this one here. So if you do want to catch up on integrals, that's level 2 calculus in 10 hours. And then there's pure integration there for you as well on YouTube. Go check it out. Handy thing to have. No worries, Brunel. Thank you for joining today. Pia Naga, not a problem. No worries, Danny. Thank you for the question. I think when you do get questions like that, it's kind of nice to get questions like that, because then what I can do is I can build you guys up with what you kind of need to answer questions like that. So Friday, jeez, mate. Friday I'm like sleeping. Say you can always catch up in the playlist, man. Like these videos will get saved on YouTube, so you can always catch it on demand. Yeah, good night, Robbie. Take care. So, folks, next time you have one of these crazy questions, right? Feel free to chuck it in the chat. And if we have time, what I'll do is I will build you guys up. So I won't just solve it straight away. What I'll do is I'll give you all the kind of like the necessary build-up questions for it, so that it actually makes it easy for you to answer those question at the end. Danny, I'm assuming that this question was a lot easier after you kind of worked through those other questions, unless you've already gone. So yeah, 100% beginner. I have like a whole collection of DC and Marvel and Star Wars shirts. It's awesome to hear. But yeah, folks, look, I'm gonna hang out and just, where am I gonna hang out today? No, I think you guys need to get back to work. So I will probably call it at the moment. I'm gonna go work on some actual school work that I need to do for tomorrow. See you, say. Take care. Are these supposed to be the... No, definitely not supposed to be the easy ones. I mean, what we did was we started the easy ones at the start of this session, and then we worked slowly to some of the more trickier questions. If you do the starting questions, I think you might find it a lot more kind of straightforward. Yeah, take care, Pia Naga. And yeah, take care, guys. Might actually stop the YouTube stream there. So yeah, thank you so much for coming today, people. I appreciate it. As always, thank you for watching, and see you later, YouTube. End.